Welcome back guys. In today's video I will show you the first working prototype of the project, and so let's start the video. If you haven't seen the past episodes, in this series I'm building an hardware based on the Anki software that could improve the SRS learning process. If you are interested, check out the description where you can find the playlist that contains all the episodes. In this episode I'm going to show you the first working prototype and so the current state of the project, the firmware, the circuit on the breadboard, and finally a demo where I'm going to study the cards without looking at the terminal or at the serial. Let's start the video by looking at the circuit first. As you can see right here we have the circuit of the first prototype. The logic is really simple. Basically in the study session the ASP will download the cards into the SD, and then when the study session begins, with this blue button we can repeat the audio. If we knew the cards we are going to press this red button, and if we didn't know the cards we are going to press the yellow button. So now we are going to see the firmware that I wrote for running the first prototype on this circuit right here, and then I will try to study a bunch of cards with basically these LEDs and this speaker right here. And now it's time to see the firmware of the project. If you didn't know because you haven't seen the past episodes, the ASP is connected to a local server that is my PC that will handle all the SRS logic, and so we are going to see also the HTTP Flask server code. But before going to the server, let's start by having a look at this. Basically I've decided to clean up the code by creating more external files that will contain different functions. I've decided to do this because the code was getting more and more messy, and so I've decided to clean up everything by adding these external files. Remember that I will upload every part of the code into the GitHub project. Check out the description if you want to see the code. But now let's start by the setup. Basically, as you can see from here, we are going to start the serial for debugging the firmware, and then we're going to set up all these things. Here you can see that we are going to start all the study session by pressing this button right here. Then the server will send to the ASP the cards. This is the function that will receive the cards, and basically it will trigger a post method on the server. This one right here, the server will get all the cards from Anki and it will clean up the array for creating the audio files. So as you can imagine, here the server is doing a lot of things for an HTTP connection. So in the future I will probably clean up something because if you don't know, the HTTP requests have a timeout, and so I will either move these functions here or either I will expand the timeout for the HTTP connection. But let's return to the firmware. This function, as we said, will receive the cards, and it will not download the audio files because the audio files will be downloaded after. Here it will receive the array full of cards. Here we are going to play a start audio file that will basically say that the study session is started, but we're going to download all the cards, all the audio files here. Basically, as you can see, download all audio is a for cycle that will download every audio files based on the array that has been sent by the server. So basically the ASP will have an array full of IDs front and back, and it will read the first one and it will say here we have a card ID and we want the audio files of this card ID. And basically we're doing this for every card, and for every card we're going to download the file based on the card ID. As you can see, download file will have the path for the file name, and it will open the SD and it will download the audio file for that card ID. And now that we have all the audio files and the array of the cards, we're going to start the study session. So now we have the front, and this is the important function. Imagine you are studying your cards. You have the front, and if you want to repeat the cards, basically you're going to press button 3, And if you want to move on and see the back of the cards, you're going to press button 1, that is the yellow one. And in this part of the study session, I've decided to use the LED blue because you can repeat the cards if you want before going to see the back and have a decision. But then you can see the back, and basically it is the same concept, but now you have to input the ease of the cards. So here we are going to need every button, and basically playback audio is a int function and it will return an is, either 1 or 4. Now, before moving on, we're going to see these two functions. As you can see from here, we have play front audio and playback audio that use play audio function that will play every audio file based on the path. We have seen this function at the start for the audio file that says let's start the study session. So with this while true, basically we are waiting for a response, and if we're going to press the blue button, it will repeat the play audio, and with the yellow one we're going to move on. Imagine the situation where you have the back of the card and you have to decide whether if you didn't know or knew the cards. Basically here you have three choices: either repeat the cards, decide that you didn't know the cards, or decide that you knew the cards. After this basically it will store the results and it will send these results out with this HTTP. Basically with this function right here we are sending with the post method the results, and here you can see basically it will receive the data and it will upload the data with the Anki API. And finally we are at the end, and as you can see from here it will play the endwav file where it says study session complete, and that's it. This was the firmware. Now we're going to do a demo of this project. Let's start the demo by adding 2 new cards for our test 2 deck that we're going to study in this demo. This could be the first one and this could be the second one. Let's start the server. So when everything is ready, this LED will turn on. Let's start.
Let's begin your flashcards. Who painted the Mona Lisa?
Okay, this is the first question, and if I want to repeat it.
Who painted the Mona Lisa?
I know it, Leonardo da Vinci.
Leonardo da Vinci.
Now that the back is what I said, I'm going to press 4.
Which ocean is the largest? Which ocean is the largest?
I'm going to press this to reveal the back.
Pacific Ocean.
And now that I'm sure that I didn't know that question, I'm going to press 1.
Study session complete.
For the next week, I think I'm going to try this hardware a little bit more, and I will fix all the bugs that comes from the SD and from the HTTP connection, so it would be easier to try different flashcards. I personally use Anki, so maybe I'll try to use some cards that would be optimal with this type of learning. And so for the next week I think I'm going to do a review of this project. I think I'm going to debug something, so in the next week I will make a video where I explain all the changes and all the pros and cons of this project. The goal is that this project will be useful for SRS learning. So right now it's not useful at all because it has a lot of problems, so I will fix them, and at the end I will also create a custom PCB for this project. So stay tuned because this project is starting to get interesting. And so leave a like, leave a subscription if you want to see more, and we're going to see you on the next one.